Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our Bryant Park Word for Word Book Club. Thank you for being here.
First off, we have Seth. Colter Wallace is a New York-based critic and reporter. The Metropolis case by Matt Gallaway, an author, Matt Gallaway, over there. The LA Times says Gallaway is a perceptive and graceful author in his own right, whose moving story will appeal to Wagnerian experts and neophytes alike.
He made a gesture I can't describe. Gentlemen, welcome to the world of reality. There is no audience. No one to applaud, to admire. No one to see you. Do you understand? Here is the truth. Actual heroism receives no ovation, entertains no one. No one queues up to see it. No one is interested.
You know, the question that people ask all the time is that, you know, it was obviously published after David Foster Wallace killed himself, unfortunately. And the question is, you know, how finished or unfinished does the book feel, and does that really inhibit a reading of the book? And I guess that's sort of where I think it might be a good place to start. So I mean, I'd be curious.
Maybe I think, you know, the plot is sort of 2/3 of the way written, such as it is, and maybe it's like 1/3, and like of that 2/3, maybe half of it is sort of very finely worked over. There was just a collection of 200 pages that he had bound and left at his desk before he killed himself.
Is it okay to ask sort of a more general question? Or
Yes,
sure, yeah, absolutely.
how do you see his legacy carrying on now? Like, readers who pick up his book 20 years, what do you think they're going to take away?
Look into your crystal ball, Gallaway.
I think that he will be always one of the defining writers of, you know, certainly our generation. I would be thrilled to have David Foster Wallace. If someone was looking back at, you know, the late 1900s, early 2000s, and say, you know, which writer do you want to represent this country at this time? If someone said David Foster Wallace, I think that would be an amazing representation of really a lot of what was going on in our country at the time. Last question I'll pose to Seth is, you know, for people who haven't read David Foster Wallace, would you start with this book?
You know, if you're going to read his fiction, I would read something else first, because he was such a master of his style.
What would you read first?
You know, I think it's slightly perverse to say it, but I think Infinite Jest really is the lodestar of his you know, fictional art.
All right, yeah. I would probably go with Oblivion is my answer, because that book to me had the most. It was the most emotionally vulnerable.
It's heavy and devastating, but it's not. There's not enough fun in it. Like there's not enough of the Wallace like fun in Oblivion. I mean, I like Oblivion like tons, and those stories are all late period, like well human and everything. But it's just I need more humor. You know.
Well,
we're different.
30, 40.
30, 40.
So.